Hello and welcome to our session on the truancy prevention and dropout recovery program from Smart Horizons. To get started, to introduce myself, my name is Steve Samaha and I am the Director for Lifetime Training Solutions with Smart Horizons. And I'll put my contact information at the end of this presentation as well so that you can reach me by email, phone, or you can reach me on LinkedIn at ssamaha as an account. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see that there is a link for a webinar. So in addition to this presentation, if you're interested in learning more about our learning management system, any of our online programs, I'd be happy to set up a one-to-one webinar for you and your staff. Just click on the link below on the web page here, and you can sign up. A little bit about us. Smart Horizons is the commercial division for a larger organization called Darwin Global. We've been in business since 1984. We started out doing software engineering and online training for the Department of Defense. Smart Horizons is the commercial, and we have a lot of different programs that we create online training for, some of which would be training for law enforcement, training for security professionals. We have a nationally accredited online high school, which we'll talk a little bit more about in this presentation. We have a national child care development program that we train daycare providers throughout the United States, school staff and school bus drivers training, and training for 911 dispatchers and emergency response personnel. The Lifetime Training Solutions division, of which I head up, focuses on at-risk youth and adults in transition. And we'll talk a little bit more about the type of programs that we have as we go through this presentation. So truancy is on the rise in the United States, and that's a big concern because truancy is a gateway behavior that predicts not only high school dropouts, but it also predicts first-time drug users by 97%. It predicts juvenile delinquency. In fact, 8% of individuals incarcerated in the corrections institutions said that they were truant at one point. So this is a concern across the country in school districts, and in some parts of the United States, truancy is as high as 30%. Now, the school districts have a different way of measuring who is considered truant. As a general rule, 10 days or more of unexcused absences is considered truancy. But there's other reasons to be concerned that it leads to behaviors such as teenage pregnancy, and other situations that if we can head off the truancy issue early on, then it's going to, as a general society, from all these other issues and the individual from going down a pathway that is potentially very destructive. And of course, as we said, there's a very high correlation between truancy and dropouts, which is another subject that, as a society, we should be concerned about. The causes of truancy are very complex. There is no one pointer. It could be issues at home. It could be bullying at school. There could be learning disabilities. There could be substance abuse issues, mental health issues. There's a lot of different reasons why a student may start showing truancy behavior. As a result, there isn't going to be a one-size-fits-all solution. So we're not going to sit here and tell you that online training is going to, in fact, be the magic bullet to solve this problem, because that's not the case. But we do know from research that online training, in conjunction with the other type of programs that your organizations probably have, whether it's mentoring or counseling or life skills training, programs that schools are running, that combined with online skill sets, those tools can be very useful in coming up with an overall solution for truancy and preventing dropouts. We'll talk more about that. What we've done is take a look at our programs we have at Lifetime Training Solutions and go through a list of what we have to offer that your organization, that could dovetail with what your organization is already using. So for example, we have a independent living skills program. One of the issues pointed out for truant youth is that often they've got situations going on in their lives. They may be taking care of younger siblings. They may lack a lot of parental supervision, so they're having to take care of themselves. Or they may be thinking about dropping out, which means they're going to have some self-sufficiency skill sets to succeed in life. And so a basic program in independent living skills might be useful for these youth to give them those self-sufficiency capabilities. Another program we have is Career Readiness, which we call our Transitional Life Skills Program. Many truant youth indicate that school is not relevant to their everyday lives. They're anxious to get out of school, get a job, and start making money, without really realizing that without schooling, they're not going to have the same career opportunities as their peers. So providing them with some career readiness, how to write a job resume, how to do a job interview, personal financial management skills, these are the type of training objectives in our Transitional Life Skills Program that could definitely be of use to an individual that's at risk, truancy or dropout behavior. Our high school credit recovery program, often truant youth have fallen behind in school, and as a result, they have to catch up, and if they fail a class, they have to retake that during summer school. So the credit recovery curriculum is derived from our online high school, and in fact, it's sort of like a digital tutor. It allows them to catch up on lessons, whether it's science, math, or language arts, or if they're at risk of failing a lesson, it would give them additional training on that particular subject, and it is a fully accredited courseware. That takes us to our alternative high school, which is a SACS-accredited online high school, and we'll talk more in depth on this here shortly, but is we are the first online school district in the United States, and many organizations use our criteria, our curriculum. It's accepted in all 50 states, and colleges across the country would accept this online high school diploma because it is accredited. The other program we have is our vocational job training program. So if the student does not plan on going to college, may or may not have already dropped out of school, they're going to need some career training. And so we offer 6 career tracks that will be preparatory training to a certification in a variety of different career fields. So we've got a series of programs that could dovetail with life skills training that you're already doing in a classroom environment, mentoring, counseling, school programs that you may already have, that the online component could add, provide extra tools to reach out, providing them with the skills they need, and hopefully preventing them, demonstrating truant behavior to start. Online training that we do is all objectives-based and standards-driven. So we look at national teaching standards, and from that we develop enabling objectives that we write our lessons to. That enables us to measure outcomes from all of the training courses. So every online lesson has a test assessment, and those test questions and the content is written to the learning objectives. This is important because then we can create modules of learning, kind of like Lego blocks. You can take lessons from our life skills courses and lessons from career readiness and maybe a career track and maybe some recovery courses, and you can create essentially a customized learning path for this student. One of the benefits of online training is that we can customize the learning for every individual. And if you recall, we talked about the fact that truancy is a very complex issue, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution for a student. The ability to customize a learning path that's going to help that student re-engage with school, get the skill sets they need, and hopefully prevent them from dropping out. That's an important thing. You can do that kind of customized learning path because of the way we've designed the online and lessons based on what you think that client is. So that's a very powerful tool when we're talking about the overall learning achievement. Now, one of the things that we emphasize is blended learning. All of our training has been designed to stand, but we recognize that there is an added learning achievement by blending online training with classroom solutions. Because these students have complex issues, they're going to need face-to-face time. They're going to need mentoring and counseling, other types of support. So combining a classroom-based program with online has proven to significantly increase learning achievement based on research from the Department of Education. There are a lot of different models of blended learning, some of which are pure online training where the student takes courses on their own at home at their own pace and maybe has a learning coach that they can dial into when they need it. Or the opposite would be students are taking online in a classroom with a teacher or a facilitator that helps them with problem resolution and skills development. And there's different models in between those two extremes. So Our online lessons can work either way. The self-blended model would be that the student takes these lessons at home at their own pace. Because it's self-paced, they move on as they master one level to the next. Really, it gives them a chance to remediate and go through the training and let. If they need help, they can communicate with an instructor or with other students. So they're really working on their own, but they can reach out. Another model that we find very successful is what we call the Learning Lab retention. This works well with some of the nonprofits and the government agencies that partners with us, because many of these organizations have computer labs. And if you could pull the student into a computer lab where they're actually taking their online lessons in a classroom with a facilitator who can then help them address individual questions and concerns, they can still reach out to other students. And in the case of our online high school, we actually have academic coaches who help students get through the curriculum if they have questions on math, or they have someone, and most of these academic coaches are former teachers that can help and guide them. But there is a facilitator from the nonprofit or government agency in the computer lab when the students are. So often what will happen is these students will show up at the Learning Lab after their regular school hours and participate in sort of an after-school program where they're in the computer lab with the facilitator taking their online courses. A variation of this model would be a nonprofit, let's say, that does life skills training in a group setting environment. They may assign some of the online lessons prior to and after that group setting. So let's say you're teaching a class on financial. You can assign a few of the online lessons before that group session on how to balance your checkbook, how to budget and savings. Then you actually have a class where you're showing them these skills in live time and able to walk them through that. And then after the class, you assign some additional online lessons to reinforce what they've learned. So it's a very powerful tool to use the online training for repetition and reinforcement. Most of our courses, you have a 12-month subscription, so there's a lot of time for the student to go back and remediate lessons, do that material, and that helps for knowledge checks and code that information because they're able to go back and look at it more. Often in any kind of training environment, you've got to have that repetition and redundancy in order for the information to. Now, our alternative high school is a SACS accredited school. So that's the same accreditation that colleges and schools across the country get. That diploma for our online high school is accepted in all 50 states, and it is the first online private school district in the United States. So it's very unique, and we partner with a lot of different organizations that use our online curriculum as part of their programs. So, for example, we've partnered with the Clinton Global Initiative. As part of that, Taco Bell and Walmart will be using. Taco Bell currently uses our online high school curriculum for their employees. We community colleges and career colleges across the country. So when these community colleges get new students who don't have a high school diploma, they've got to come up with a way for them to do so, and they use our online curriculum to achieve that. And then those students can then enroll into the college level courses once they've finished their high school. K-12, which is one of the largest online school providers in the United States, uses our curriculum to target at-risk youth because it was designed specifically for that audience. And then we have other partners, Cengage Learning being a large one, that are reaching out to a variety of clients around the country, again, targeting at-risk youth and adults in transition, many of whom that have dropped out and want to go back and get an actual accredited diploma instead of a GED. So again, it is fully accredited, and people always ask, will my school accept your diploma? And the answer to that should be yes. And if there's ever any question, our staff will call that school and the admissions department so they understand our accreditation, and of course we provide that document. A couple examples of where this program is being used. Right now in the Tulare School District in California, they have created a dropout recovery program. They're using our online high school curriculum along with some of our life skills training and other type online to reach out to individuals that have dropped out or are at risk of dropping out and offer them an alternative high school solution. Another example is in the Florida Department of Corrections. We started out in 2 prisons in Florida. We've now expanded out to 7. And I'll show you some statistics from this, but it's been extremely successful, which the Department of Corrections recognizes that the more education they provide, and less recidivism. So they have dramatically increased the graduation rates by going with our online high school. Before, they were offering basic adult education working towards GEDs, but the GED has changed. It's become difficult to pass the GED. These organizations are realizing that it's not only more cost effective, but in the end, the student's getting an actual diploma instead of a GED, so it's a better option for them. And then, as I mentioned, a lot of career colleges nationwide that are using our curriculum to prepare their students. In some cases, there are students that may have graduated from high school, but they need to brush up on their math, their science, and their language arts in order to go back to college. They may have a long period of time, so they've graduated, and now they want to improve their education. And what we a Bridge to Start program, essentially, that you. So in addition to being an online high school, it's actually a career online high school. So the student gets a diploma and a career certificate. There are 8 different career tracks they can choose from. So they're walking away with job skills in addition to a good, solid educational background. There's 18 different credits in the high school. The way it typically works is we review the students' transcripts. We determine where they dropped out and how many credits they'll need. They have to take a minimum of 4 from the program. But if the student only needs 6 credits, then they don't have to take a full 18. They just take the 6 they required in order to get their diploma. They're also going to get a career certificate, and we make them take the career training up front. Dealing with an audience that dropped out of school or is at risk of dropping out because they didn't feel school was relevant to their daily lives. Getting them career training and making it relevant and getting that training up front, they're actually demonstrating success and they're walking away with a certificate, but they don't get that certificate until they finish the rest of the online curriculum that's required for them. So it's really a powerful and important point that we use as part of our student engagement and demonstrating success for the students. All of our systems are stored in a facility out in Oklahoma. We call it the bunker. It literally is a reinforced concrete structure. Suppose you could take a direct F3 tornado hit. But it's important to understand that we've done all of the protocols and firewalls necessary to keep information as safe as it can possibly be. Because we do so much work with the Department of Defense, we have to spend the kind of money on the infrastructure necessary. We do not market to students, so any information or data that's been collected, don't use that to market to students, kept in a safe and secure environment. We can get you more information on those protocols. Now, all of the lessons are contained in our proprietary learning management system we call NetExport. The system is going to allow you to run reports on your students daily, weekly, monthly. You can run transcripts. You can look at their scores. You can see what the last activity was. So as an administrator of a program, you're going to be able to go in there and track measurable outcomes from this dropout recovery, truancy prevention, skills program, however you want to structure this. And those measurable outcomes can be outsourced to a database, to a spreadsheet, and you can then provide that to grant-writing institutions or grant organizations you're trying to reach funding from, or government agencies that you've got to demonstrate results from. So this is a very powerful tool. And again, if you're interested in a webinar that goes through both the examples of the lessons and the learning management system, there's a link in the bottom of the web page that this presentation is contained on. Click on that, you can sign up for a webinar, and I'll set that up specifically for you and your staff, and I'll go into the learning management. That webinar normally takes about 45 minutes, but we're happy to do that on an individual basis for clients. Demonstrating some results from some of the programs. This is some statistics from one of our career colleges, a post-secondary vocational institution, where you'll notice that they have increased their graduates by as much as 77%. So these are students that come to them that do not have diplomas, that need to get a diploma. Prior to this, they were putting them through GED prep training, and they've had more success putting them through an online high school where they can take the lessons at their own pace and significantly increase graduation rates. So these students eventually went on to college after having completed. These are our statistics from the correctional institution that's using our high school, and you'll notice that prior to that they were doing basic adult education programs, which is GED prep. They only had a 10% completion rate. 90% of the inmates that were prepping for the GED were failing and not completing the program. 70 and 80% success rates and completion rates by converting these inmates to studying an online high school, and it's more powerful in the end that they actually have a high school diploma rather than a GED. All the evidence suggests that individuals actually with high school diplomas make more money and have more job opportunities than those with GEDs. So why spend the money prepping a student for taking the GED exam when you can spend about the same amount of money prepping them to actually take an online diploma and actually be a high school diploma with a career certificate on top of that? As I said before, we started out in 2 prisons in Florida. We've now expanded out to 7 because this program is so successful. And we are branching out to other states with this high school program. So this is just a short presentation to talk about some of the programs we have, whether it's life skills training, or high school credit recovery, the online high school, or actual career training itself, and using those lessons in conjunction with what you're already doing as a truancy prevention and dropout recovery program. We feel we've got some powerful tools to help you stop this epidemic of truancy and dropout. So again, my contact information, you can email me, call me, or go to our website at mytrainingnow.com, which you are currently on. Sign up for a webinar if you want. We've got lots of white papers and technical information that you can download to review some of the benefits of online learning. To answer any questions you might have on any of our programs. We appreciate your time and look forward to hearing from you.